Hello everybody. Hello everybody. I'd just like to say a big thanks to everybody that's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, it does help. Yeah, and like. Well, today's video is not motorbikes, but it's related to the Twisted Spire channel. I use an online editing suite and it's forever twirling round, loading, and it drives me mad. I'm a long way in my little editing suite here, aka spare bedroom, from the router. The wireless isn't very strong. They claim all this, that and the other, but it never lives up to it, does it? Anyway, I want to get Ethernet in here, so I've devised a plan. I'm going to put an Ethernet socket downstairs near the router, go up through the wall, up through the airing cupboard, into the loft, across the loft, and down into this room, down through that back wall there behind my computer, and put another Ethernet socket there. So then I just need a patch lead at each end, into the router, into my computer. Bingo! I'm going to have super fast editing. Fingers crossed. Away we go. So, I've drawn a little plan to show you what I'm doing. This is my house. We're in the living room here, and there's the router. And I want to put an Ethernet socket here near the router. So this orange line is where I'm going. I'm going up inside that wall, and then I'm going to appear in the airing cupboard above. Then I'm going to go up through the airing cupboard, up into the loft, route the wire across the top of across in the loft, then find the top of the wall in the computer room. That's the one behind my computer there, and I'm going to come down inside the wall there and put a socket there. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Well, let's see how I get on. So this is phase one of taking the Ethernet upstairs. I've cut a piece of the plasterboard out with a jab saw. You jab it in, saw, clear it out. I've got it a nice good fit. That has to be screwed to the back wall. This is just dot and dab onto a solid wall, but there is a gap there that the cable can come down, so that'll go in there with the Ethernet socket on, and then I'll be able to get a patch cable across to the router, which is plugged in there. So this is the most convenient place to bring it down. So that's phase one done. Now we've got to do some fishing. I've got to fish down from upstairs to this hole. This is the airing cupboard. So my plan is to go up into the loft through the top of the airing cupboard, and I'm going to come up into the airing cupboard, down through here. I'm going to take this bottom panel off here and go through, down, and fish down the cavity wall. Right, so below the airing cupboard I've taken that board off, and I've pulled the carpet back, and I've figured out where we are right over the top of the downstairs wall, and I've drilled a hole with a hole saw, and I'm going to fish down with this, and this is it's actually a drain cleaning rod, but it's very flexible and small diameter. So I've measured on this with a bit of tape what depth I need to go to be about where that socket hole is downstairs. So I've got to get this now down between the plasterboard and the wall and avoid any dabs, hopefully, and find that hole that I've got down there. A few minutes later. That should be in line with that socket downstairs now, so let's go and have a look. Yes, success. There is the end of my rod look. That was a bit of good fishing. Now I need to connect my cable to this, draw it back up, put the back box in, and Bob's your uncle. Let's get the cable. There, I've taped the cable to my fishing rod, my drain rod, and now I've got to go upstairs and draw it up through the wall. Let's see if it'll come. Attempt number 2. Let's have another go. Gently does it. Come on. This is how those Eskimos do it, through a hole in the ice. Sit there all day to catch a fish, don't they? Come on. Oh, is it coming? Yes! And we've got it. I used gaffer tape that time. A bit stronger tape. Right, now to pull it all through. It's time to put the back box in. So I've got a thinner drill bit than I need, and I'm going through the holes to mark the wall at the back. Just to find the position. Now I'll pull the back box out. I should be able to see where that's marked, and drill and put the raw plugs in. Yeah, is it all there? That's that. Pop the back box in. Yes, I think that's about it. So that's the back box in. Wire through. Ready for connecting the wire and the front plate on. I've been on the internet and I bought off Amazon this kit, which I'm really pleased with. You need the wire stripping tool, and this is the push down tool for doing the connections. But along with this kit you get wire stripping and crimping pliers, a load of connectors, a tool to test the circuit when it's complete, and also you get an Ethernet connector and an Ethernet splitter, and the battery for the testing device for testing the circuit. So that was £15 something, and a load of cable ties. So I think for £15, once you buy it, you've got it, and you can make yourself some patch leads up with these plugs afterwards. So happy days, I'm pleased with that. So now I'm going to wire the socket. And the socket is colour coded. That's upside down. So you've got on the right you've got brown, then you've got brown and white, blue, and then blue and white, and on the left you've got orange, orange and white, green, and green and white. So corresponding colours have to go into the corresponding colours. So first I've got to strip the wire off and then untwist the wires and get it set up in the plug. So here goes. I'll put my camera there and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing if I do it right. So I think I need this tool, and I want about that much bearing off. So wind that around, and if that's gone through, has it? Yep. There we are. That was easy. And here we have all the wires twisted round a central core hook. Like any good DIYer, I did a bit of research before I did this. And now I reckon I need to trim that cord off and cut this central nylon divider, and then I need to untwist the wires and just get it started. Yeah, so what they recommend is to use this bit of insulation and twizzle that round, and it untwizzles the wires for you. How's about that? Cracking. And do that with all four. There we are, fast forward, I've untwizzled them all, so we're ready for connecting now. I'll see if I can get my camera set up better. So first of all, what I'll do is connect the cable, and just thread that cable tie through there, sit it on, and then come on, fiddly thing, that's it, and pull that down tight and snip the excess off. How's that? So we're all ready to go now. So now then, put the wires in by hand first. So I've got to sort these out and put them in by hand. There's all the wires pushed in by hand as far as I can get them in. That was a bit fiddly, that. So I did a little bit of a fast forward to this stage. So now I need the push down tool. So that's this gadget here, out of this kit that I bought. And take the cover off the blade. And apparently, see that blade on the left hand side there? That has to go to the outside and it trims the wire off. So there goes nothing. I'll put it over the wire. And bang. Yeah, the wire's in. And it's trimmed it off. Happy days. 7 more to go. So yeah, it pays to get this tool. Can you see how it's driven the wires down into those cleats there to make the connection? So I've got my blade the wrong way around there. Get it the right way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. How's that? Nice and neat. Wires are driven down into the bottom, look. So now I can I'll just tilt the camera up a bit. There we are. And I can thread the wire up into the wall. I'll have to just pull a bit through from upstairs. There we are. I've threaded a bit through upstairs, and now just pop the. Now then, which way up do you want it? That way. Link. Yeah. And click it into place. Now then, do you think she'll notice? No, I think we'll get away with this. I've got the cable coming out all clipped up, coming up into the airing cupboard now. Disappears under that shelf, and I've drilled through the shelf and it's coming up into the airing cupboard, and there's the wire all coiled up ready to go up into the loft. Right, I'm in the loft. Happy days. Right, I'm in the loft. I've taped a little magnet to the end of the wire, and I've found the top of the wall. I've drilled down, and I'm going to poke this wire now down with the magnet on the end to the right length, and hopefully I can find it with a magnet down in the bedroom now, and then I can cut the hole for the socket. So, in my computer room upstairs, I've done the same thing as I did downstairs, only from up in the loft I've fished down inside the wall with my drain rod, and now I'm going to attach a piece of cord to this and pull it back up, and then I shall pull the wire downhill into this room. I've now repeated the process that I did downstairs behind my computer desk, and I'm ready for the front to go on and for the actual Ethernet socket connection to go on the end of the wire. Right, see if I can film this a bit better at this end. I'm going to chop a length off first. I slide that in there. Whoops, that's not a good start, is it? Right, start again. Slide the blade on. That's it. Wind it round. That comes off. Right, so then separate all the wires. 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. Well, 8 wires actually. They're twisted together. I cut that little bit of thread off there, and then cut that bit off in the middle, the plastic divider, and get rid of that. Right, so now just start these undoing like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the bit of plastic insulation that I cut off, slide that on, twizzle it round, there you are, and it separates the wires. Easy peasy. Slide that on, twizzle it round, that's it, separates the wires. Round one, it's a little bit fiddly this. That's separated, and same with this one. Slide that insulation down, it separates it like that. Lovely job. So now I've got to fasten the cable into the back of the socket with the cable tie. Oop, flirted out again. I'm stopping. That's it. Right, get it the right length. Dog that down tight. Stick the excess off. Right, and like I said before, on the other side, it's colour coded, and we've got brown and white, blue and white on this side, and orange and white, green and white on that side. So I'll lay those in by hand. So they're all laying in there now, ready to be punched in with the punching tool. Not forgetting to get the blade to the outside edge. So there we go. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. So they're all knocked in there. So them tails will just twist off. There we are. So that's all ready now for going in the socket hole. So I'll see if I can turn the camera around for you. There we are. I'll just feed the wire back up into the hole. I've got a bit of leftover cable, so if I need to reconnect, I've got some spare. Get that in there. And that's it, snapped in, done. So I've got Ethernet socket upstairs behind the computer and Ethernet downstairs near the modem. Now I've just got to test the sockets. I'm now testing the circuit. I'll put a patch lead into the socket downstairs. We've got the tester that came with the kit. I'll switch it on and all the lights are flashing. Well, they're all flashing. So let's go and see what's happening at the other end. And at the other end, upstairs, the lights are flashing in sequence, going through all the wires. They're all lighting up, all 8. So happy days.